Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry, I'll have a new tutorial up or walkthrough painting thing sometime this week. But I've been seeing a lot of people complain about brushes. I've been seeing a lot about people complain. I can't speak today. Complain about getting their brushes clean, their brushes getting stiff, and sometimes they want to complain about the Bob Ross style of brushes. They're not as good as they used to be. And when I look at the brushes, what I see, so I just got a 1 inch here, what I see is paint drip down through here on the handles. It's up in the ferrule, it's down in the ferrule. This brush is green all the way up, so it's really going to be stiff. If you have paint that dries in this brush, it's going to be super stiff. So I actually dried a little paint in one of these brushes for a couple of days. It's Van Dyke Brown. I had some sitting here, it's still on my palette. And I want to show you what you can do to kind of restore a brush. This is just one way, by the way. You could also use mineral oil. A lot of people use baby oil. The difference in mineral oil and baby oil is that baby oil is scented. So I don't care for the scent, but I do have mineral oil that I use occasionally. But I also have another Bob Ross related product that I actually love. A lot of people don't like it. They say it looks like brake fluid, I think. So this is the Bob Ross Brush Cleaner and Conditioner. It actually smells wonderful. It's got a citrusy smell. This is not a product, I'm not plugging this. This is what I actually use. As you can see from my dirty little container here, I always have this where I'm cleaning brushes so that I know that if I have a brush that needs a little extra cleaning, I can dip it in here, let it sit, and then I'll show you what I'll do with it to get it even cleaner. And it also makes those bristles nice and conditioned. It's kind of like taking, you got your shampoo. Your shampoo would be your thinner, and then you have your conditioner right here. So it's a really good product to use. But again, this is not the only product. It's just one that I have that I use with my Ross brushes usually. I do use mineral oil as well. So I've got a couple different brushes here. I've got this one which will clean. I've got this one for a specific purpose, and then I've got a filbert here that I'm going to show you. It's clean and it's not really stiff. You can see it bending there, right? So I want to show you though what's in there. So what I'm going to do with this one first, and we're going to leave it the longest, is just put it in here and just smush it down to the bottom of this thing and get a bunch of that on there. Look, it's dripping off of there, right? Okay. So we're going to let that one sit just a second. I'll probably just leave it in the bucket actually. And then I'm going to do this one next. This is a script liner. So if you use these script liners a lot, and I do this anytime that I use them actually, so it's not just occasionally. Anytime I clean a script liner, I will put it in the thinner bucket and gently kind of scrub it around just a little bit. Do not beat the devil out of your script liner brushes. You will destroy them in no time. Same thing with a fan brush. I didn't bring a fan brush back here, but same thing with a fan brush. Don't really beat a fan brush crazy on your beater rack. You don't need to, and if you do, it's just going to break those bristles off right on the end. So, but the script liner, anytime you use it, what I like to do is just dip it into my stuff, and I've got you can see a lot in there. Maybe you might be able to see it drip here in a minute. I've got an old rag that I use, and I would just lightly kind of pull some of that out and dry it off. And then I like to, now usually I'm wearing gloves when I do this. I didn't dip this one into thinner right now, so I'm not too worried about it. I will kind of shape that brush back to a point, even if I'm wearing gloves, so I get that nice point on it again. And that's really helpful. And that's great to go for next time. So I'm going to clean it really before I use it next time, because I'm going to dip it in the thinner bucket to get the paint nice and loose. So that'll get rid of any residue that I didn't get out. But let that sit, okay? So that's one thing I wanted to show you about cleaning those. And then I'm going to get you a little closer for the 1 inch so you can see this one. We're going to clean this one next. Okay, we're back here, and I've got the brush here. Again, this is Van Dyke Brown in the brush that's dried for a couple days, so it's pretty stiff. Look here, you can see it, right? You can kind of see those bristles are almost glued together by that paint. So I could thinner clean this, and I likely would if I was doing a normal cleaning process. But what I want to do here is I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay this one out now. Just rake a little bit of that back in there so we don't lose it. I'm going to take this and I'm going to let that one sit just for a second while we look at this filbert brush. And then we're going to show you how much paint that stuff will actually get out. And what I want to do with this one is just to try to find somewhere clean on my rag. So I recommend rags and things so you don't throw so many paper towels away. It just kind of helps the environment. But I'm going to take that. It's pretty clean there, right? We're going to take it and just kind of squeeze. Watch this squeeze. This was a clean brush, by the way. It was good to use, dry. I'm just going to squeeze. I'm not really yanking. I'm just kind of squeezing. And you can see I pulled out some more paint. There's little streaks of green and thing in there now. Get a little bit closer. So there's still tons of paint to come out of this. Now, if I wanted to, I could let that soak even longer. And it would bring even more of that paint. And it would, you see more paint coming back off. So the more you let this sit and, kind of get in there and dissolve that paint or whatever it does. I don't know what kind of chemical. I think it's just the oil or the cleaner grabbing onto that oil, I guess. I'm not real smart on that side of the coin, guys, so forgive me. But you can see I got all of this is new stains on my rag. All that right there. 1, 2, 3 little splotches. And again, that brush was fine. I just wanted to show you if you ever have a brush that's getting a little stiff, it's getting a little bit, dingy looking, you're getting a lot of paint back here in the ferrule area, you can take that and just soak them overnight. Soak them for 2 days. You could put this conditioner in there and leave it. And then clean it next week when you paint. So the longer you leave it in there, the more likely you're to get more paint back out. And that may help you restore brushes to where they actually look like, this is an older, I've been using this filbert for probably 1.5 years. Now what I want you to look at is the condition of the brush handle, the condition of the ferrule, okay? You don't see paint dripping down this. If you take care of these brushes, especially these Bob Ross brushes, even though they're not made like the old Weber ones, they're still great brushes. They're still really good brushes. You just have to take care of them. And I see so many people don't take care of them. That was one commitment I made when I first started painting, because these brushes can run a lot of money if you buy a lot of them, is to take care of my brushes. And I've done pretty good with that. I've only had to maybe throw away one brush because it was just worn out completely. So do that. But again, just take note of the condition of that. And again, a filbert doesn't get used like a big 2-inch, but still, I have seen filberts that I've seen listing of people selling old brushes that look like they should be, they should be thrown in the garbage. So you can always restore a brush. You can always get the paint out of it. There's other products you can use if you have a really bad brush. But again, I like this Roche conditioner and cleaner. Probably that's all I've ever needed. And again, if you have mineral oil, you could use that too. This just smells like oranges. So it may just be playing the trick on me because it's orange, but it smells good. All right, so the filbert's a little bit cleaner, as you can see from the rag there. All that came out of it, and that was a fine filbert. Now we've got this guy. We've got our dirty, a few days, I forget exactly, it may be 3 days that I've left this Van Dyke Brown in here just to dry. So what I'll do in my little bucket here is just kind of smush on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that real well. Okay, just to get a little bit more in there. And then I'm going to rake off right here. Now we're going to watch this. And this won't get it all because this is really dried in there. But look at all that paint that's come out. Okay, look at all this paint. Now what I want to do is just kind of rub this onto a rag, onto a paper towel if you needed to. Look what's all's coming out. And then this is not using any thinner, right? No thinner used to clean this. So, people a lot of times are using now baby oil, which I don't understand the baby oil thing. I would use mineral oil again. It's the same thing, just not scented, to clean brushes. And you can, I just don't like, it just doesn't get them as clean as the thinner. And it takes a heck of a lot longer. But already I am getting tons of that out. So you can see that, an oily substance like baby oil will do the same thing here. Baby oil will also condition your brushes. So you probably can't see that. But look how much paint we got out of there without having to use any thinner. And I will thinner clean this one. Okay. But it's also, as I'm doing this, I'm conditioning my brushes. So I have probably 35 1-inch brushes, maybe a few more, that have sat. Those, the ones that I don't use, that are for classes, that have sat for, last time I taught a class was in January of last year, so January 2020. So they've sat and sat and sat, and they are actually just a little hard from sitting. So my plan is to actually take all of those and condition them, leave them set for one day, and then get the oil out, and then thinner clean them and put them back. So they'll be good in condition when I can start teaching again. But we could sit here all day and do that, but that's just not the purpose of the video. I just wanted you guys to see. And this, another good example here. Now I did that on purpose, leaving that in there. This is an older Bob Ross brush. This is probably 3 years, 4 years old. Older for me, right? I've not been painting that long. You can see it's wearing down. You can see, there's a couple little spots of paint on it that I could, get brown paint on it now. I could get off really easily. And that may be Van Dyke Brown drying on it. I think it is. But I've taken care of it. There's no paint up under this part of the ferrule. There's no paint on the ferrule. And the brush is fairly clean down here next to this ferrule. Now, part of that is leaving the brush laying to dry. Don't stand them up. Okay, don't do that with the brush and let it get down into the ferrule. But again, your brushes should not be these good brushes. Now, if you're buying cheapos that you can throw away after a few uses, then that's fine. Get them as dirty as you want. And again, they're your brushes. You can get them as dirty as you want. But I would be careful with brushes that cost a good bit of money. What is this going to be, $10 or $11 for someone to go buy? So, and it will last you for years. So there's no point in misusing your brushes and mishandling them to the point that they look disgusting. Okay, so clean them up. Get some of this conditioner. And I'm just going to put this back in here because I'll keep cleaning it. Get some of this conditioner, get some mineral oil, and you can actually see the brown paint just coming right off when I scrape it on the side of that jug there, my little container here. And I use this even though it's got paint in it, because what I do after I condition and squeeze out the conditioner, I'll actually thinner clean, and that'll get the rest of it, and then they're ready to go. Because you don't want to use one of these if it's got, don't go to the canvas with this stuff in it. Get that stuff out, thinner clean it. But you can see I can sit here and get all that out without any thinner. So that's one thing I wanted to show you guys, just how to take care of your brushes. This could be a 2-inch, this could be a fan, this could be anything that gets dried paint in it. You could use the Bob Ross, and I recommend it highly. Not just because I'm a Bob Ross CRI, but this is really good to get that out. It can get a little bit expensive. Mineral oil is cheap. Other oils will probably work. The only two I have used, I've used this product and I've used mineral oil. So there you go. Get to cleaning your brushes, get to taking care of your brushes, and keep them around a long time. So when you're famous, in 20 years, you can say, look, here's my first paintbrush, right? Because if you keep getting paint stuck down here in the ferrule, that ferrule's just going to pop off there eventually, and the brush is going to be of no use to anyone. Now, this is not to pick on anybody that lets their brushes get dirty. It's just the way I do it. It is not the absolute 100% right way, because I guess it's kind of artistic-y to just have paint all over your brushes. I just don't like it. So, alright guys, I will see you soon with a new painting, and we'll have some fun. I've got a couple of ideas in my head of walkthroughs that we can do together. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Take care.